Hey there, business owners and entrepreneurs.
You've landed on The Marketing Corner, brought to you by CS Design Studios. Every week,
We serve up essential insider tips.
and powerful strategies to elevate your brand. So let's level up your marketing game. Stay sharp, stay tuned, and let's kickstart your path to marketing excellence. Right here, right now. Your adventure begins.
And so it begins. How'd you like that intro, Andres?
Man. Yeah, that was very classy. I like it.
I don't know if classy is the right word, but it kind of grabs your attention.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That voice, man. Oh,
Well, welcome to the Marketing Corner. We have a very special guest, Andres Ruiz.
yes.
Where's the golf clap? Where's the golf clap?
Let's get the golf clap.
We got to get the golf clap.
And vision.
We'll come back. Give me a second. We'll come back. We'll get the claps going.
And
I got
we
it right
have-
here.
And
Let's
we
go.
have engineer Aaron Owens.
I'm a little rusty. It's been a minute since
I know
I've
it's been a while.
Since
It's
I've
been a
actually
while.
done this,
Yeah,
so
I think we'll need to have Lily retrain you on this. But you know, I mean, that's what. There we go.
Yes. I feel it. I
There
feel
we
the
go.
energy. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you, man.
My apologies.
So, Aaron, this podcast is actually about you and self-help. We've sabotaged you. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know, right? Put you on the spot.
Put you on the spot.
I will
Put
take
you
all
on
the
the
help I
spot.
can get. So.
We no, I've been looking forward to this day, Andres.
Same, man.
You know, it's been this podcast really should have happened a while ago, but especially now after, and you know, by no means am I trying to like push my book on this podcast. It's just that you inspired me these last few months to really get it done.
Thanks,
And the words of advice you gave me just was a punch in the face. So the biggest thing I wanted to do first and foremost, just thank you for your motivation,
Thanks,
your
man.
inspiration, your
I appreciate
advice.
you. Thanks, dude.
And you know, the biggest piece of advice that you gave me was like, it doesn't need to be perfect. And it was almost as if you were in my head because I had read my little book about 13 times at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't I reach out to him a lot earlier?
Oh man,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, dude. That means a lot, really.
Yeah.
And that honestly, that touches my heart because that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here to serve people. Just seeing your smile, that makes me happy, dude.
Oh man,
That's
it's-
purpose right there,
it's-
bro.
And that's exactly how I smile when you and I were messaging over Facebook, and you're like, it doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's a scary thing. You've written 11 Amazon best-selling books.
Actually, I've written 10 books. The 11th one was it was one of the first books where it was like a collaboration with a bunch of other business owners and stuff. And then, but I've been 6-time #1 on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And my book did hit #1. But
I
it was
know.
because
I
of your
saw that.
advice.
Yeah.
It was your advice. Here's what you do. And you and your team did a phenomenal job in
Yeah, I love the
formatting. You know what's funny is the people who bought the book and posted my book online. It's like I didn't even have a copy of my book till last night.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the formatting's beautiful. Your team did such an amazing job.
Yeah,
and just took it to the next level.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
it looks great, dude.
It
when
does,
I
yeah.
got it,
Yeah.
I got it last Sunday, man. So I got it in my hands. I was like, man, this looks good. I didn't want to tell you that I got it because I wanted to surprise you. So that's why.
But I surprised you.
I know
'cause
you
I had
did.
your signed
I
copy.
got a
Or
signed copy now.
And
Yes.
for the record, that was the first signed copy. Well, it had to be to you.
Oh,
It
thanks,
had to
dude.
be to you
Thanks, bro.
because, man, you had no idea how much that meant to me.
Dude,
You know?
you have no idea how much this means to me
Yeah.
to just hear you, man. And like I said, this is why I do what I do because when I get this, this is so much better than anything else. Like
Yeah.
it's great. Sometimes you get paid and all this stuff, but the appreciation,
Yeah.
the gratitude you get
Yeah.
from people,
Yeah.
it's right there, man.
So for those people who don't know what you do, tell us about Andres Ruiz.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I do a few things. One of the things that I do is I do a lot of public speaking, motivational speaking for middle schools, high schools, colleges, nonprofits, organizations. Just recently, I gave a presentation to some elementary kids. It was based off my book, children's book that I wrote called I Believe in Myself, The Adventures of Abram. And that's actually based off my son. The illustrator did an amazing job with the pictures. I come out there too, and I was like, I look like King of the Hill. Like, I'm like, come on, Bobby. It's like, man, come on, man. Like, you making me look like King of the Hill over here. But he did a great job. I do look like him. But and then even the background looks like when they're just hanging out with the beers.
Right.
So yeah, and kids are very honest. Sometimes they'll just tell you how it is. And they saw my son's picture, and it kind of looks like he has like a little bit of like red, and he's like, does he have lipstick on? And I'm like, no, he doesn't. But thanks for keeping it real, man. They keep it very real. They'll tell you how it is.
Man.
But yeah, man, that's what I do
funny.
as a motivational speaker, and then as a coach, I help my business owners, entrepreneurs overcome self-doubt, procrastination, burnout, so that they can have more confidence, be more productive, and be more happy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of challenges when you have a business, man.
Right.
And you can burn out really quick.
Right.
So that's where just yesterday I had a session with one of my clients, and the plan of action was, hey, take a few times to just sit, listen to the noises, take a deep breath in, and just listen to the noises. That's it for 30 seconds. And she did that 3 times yesterday, and she said, that made a big difference.
Wow.
That was the plan of action.
Wow.
That simple. But
Wow.
how often are we just going,
Right.
and we
Right.
don't take the time to just take a deep breath? We're
Yeah.
always shallow breathing.
Right.
And that's the piece where I bring in of it's a little different. It's kind of like business coaching, but it's more of like taking care of business in there.
Wow.
Because if you don't take care of business in there, your
Right.
business is not going to do well.
Right. I remember before you and I first met, and we actually had a conversation at the stands. It was a few years ago. And I was 100% guilty of being that dude that I'm going to grind this out. I want to be at my desk for 10 hours straight. You know what I mean? And you talk about burnout. You know, what I would do to myself, I don't know if I ever admitted this to you, but I would work so hard for so long.
Yeah.
And I know, like, midway through the day, it's like, oh, no, I'm going to go home. I'm going to fall asleep with my clothes on and wake up in a puddle of drool because I'm so burnt out. And I would sleep for 13, 14 hours and out.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Out. And I did that to myself for a while. Every few months, my body would just shut down.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah. And then you're not productive, and then you're tired. You're not feeling good.
Not creative at all. You know.
No.
And not funny. You know, not funny. Nobody laughed.
Yeah, no. I did like the drool part. That was funny, but it's true.
It was dead true.
It's true.
Dead true. You know,
It's
I'd wake
crazy.
up and then all the vavas is all over my side of my face, and I'm like in my clothes that I wore the day before.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done that. You know, too many times.
Yes.
And that's not healthy.
It's not. It's not.
And it was so counterproductive. Then,
Yes.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah, and that's what I think sometimes people forget is that hey, actually, if you rest, you will get more done in those 50 minutes than you would in those 4 to 6 hours of you being tired.
right.
And it's
Right.
amazing how when I get to work and I do it's called the 25-5, where for 25 minutes I stay laser focused. I put my phone down. I don't look at my phone, and then I just go at it hard. And I get so much done in those 25 minutes. And then I take a 5-minute break where I'll do some push-ups or I'll just scroll a little bit. And then as soon as the 5 minutes hits, boom, another 25 minutes.
Right.
And I knock out so much in those 50 minutes of laser focused work than I would in those 4 hours of distracted work.
Yeah.
And if you do this just a couple of times, you would be amazed at how much you will get done. Those emails will get sent immediately. That presentation will get done. Whatever it is that you need to get done in those 25 minutes, you would be like, wow, I actually did something.
Yeah.
So
how important is a routine or routine in general then? You know, I mean, is it ultra? Because it's funny because I love watching like Aaron, you know, work and how different he is as opposed to the guys that are in website development and everything else. But everybody has their own unique routine.
Yes.
Aaron gets up and he'll walk around, he eats healthy, You know, he's focused when he's focused, but when he's on his break, he's on his break.
There you go.
And then when our website guys, when they take their break, you can't really tell the difference because they're gaming, you know, as opposed to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But how important is that routine?
Oh man, it's everything. For me personally, that routine of waking up and making sure that I'm not looking at my phone first thing in the morning. I actually go into the bathroom. I do some affirmations. I tell myself good things to myself. Yeah. At first, I remember when I was doing it, I was like, am I losing my mind? Like, have I gone crazy? But I saw a lot of...
So even after all these years, you still do it?
I still do it, man. Yeah. Daily affirmations where I actually look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, Andres, I love you. I really, really love you. I have to tell myself that. I have to love myself because if I love myself, I can bring love. I can bring love to you. I can bring love to this room. I can bring love to my clients. And it will show if you really love yourself because you can't give what you don't have. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people.
Right.
So I have to start with myself, loving myself, appreciating myself. And then I do a few affirmations. And then after that, I just go and meditate for about 20 minutes. And then during that meditation, I focus on gratitude. Like, for example, this morning, I was focusing on the gratitude of my son playing baseball with me, throwing the ball around. And then actually this morning, I was throwing the ball around 5:30 with my son in the morning. I know my son is, dude, my son is amazing. He just, he wants to play and work out. He's even doing yoga with me now. Like after I do my meditation of gratitude and visualization, I visualize myself and what I'm going to be creating in the future. And I visualize as if I'm already there. And now I'm feeling this amazing power within me that I am that future me.
Wow.
In this moment.
Right.
And I know that I will get there. But I'm now activating that part of myself in the future of the potential that I have in this moment. So I'm going to show up in a room with this energy that will inspire, motivate people, and that energy is contagious. People want more of that. So that's who the type of people that I want to work with as well. So I want to attract who I am. And I also want to make sure that I'm giving my energy to the people that I'm serving.
And do you know how much just playing catch with your son when he's like our age, how much he's going to look back and appreciate that,
dude?
And that gratitude and that magic is going to live forever.
Yes,
the simple thing of playing catch with your son at 5:30 in the morning,
dude.
I promise you, when he's 40, 50, 60 years old, my dad used to take me out 5:30, and he's going to continue just from that little act. Ever think about that?
That's beautiful. Yeah, dude. That's beautiful. I have thought about that, but not like right now. I was thinking, wow, that's so true.
It is.
My son will remember that, and And man, and my son, he what I love about him, the other day he was asking me, "Hey Dad," because I was done with one of my calls, and he says, "Hey, are you available? Like, can we play catch?" And I'm like, yes. Like, he got so excited. And I'm like, dude, this guy's excited to play with me.
You're doing something right.
Yeah. So I was so grateful for that moment. So when I meditate and I think about those moments, or like with my other son, Abram, the 9-year-old, we'll play like just dancing. He'll dance, and we do these ridiculous dances, and then he starts dancing, and then he's like, "Dad, sit down, just watch me, because I think I dance a little bit better than you." So, and he starts dancing. I just watch him, and he's so into it, and he just loves me watching him, and I'm just watching him. Sometimes we'll play Legos. I'm a terrible Lego creator, whatever you call it, but we do those things, and that's the gratitude that I'm focusing on, and I'm grateful for the now, this moment, because this moment is all we have. This moment is all that exists, and we're in a good spot. We're having a great conversation. We have great people in the room, and we're healthy. We woke up today. 150,000 people die every day. I was not one of them. Thank you. I'm so grateful that I am alive. I have my arms. I have my legs. The other day, I saw a person with no arms and no legs. Wow. I have arms and legs. Wow. I'm rich.
I mean, those little things. Like, I swear, Andres, every time I go buy a $7 coffee, I'm grateful for it. Because I'm in a position I can go buy a $7 coffee every day.
That's beautiful right there.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's one of those things that I think, and I wrote about it in my book. You're going to get tired of hearing me say it, Aaron. You have no idea. Well, I wrote that in my book.
You have to be proud of yourself.
But gratitude is like to me, it's like one of the number one biggest things of someone who's going to differentiate themselves from them achieving the success that they want.
Yes.
Or not.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Because if you're not grateful for all those little things, Every time I walk into the Sam's Club, I'm like, I'm so grateful to be around these people.
Dude, that's
You
beautiful.
know? And 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years ago, I was like, I would have never thought I would have been in that environment. I get to go there every single Wednesday morning with my laptop, with my Starbucks, put my feet up and work. And
That's beautiful.
And we're overlooking the stadium. All those little things I will never ever get tired of.
Yes, I love that.
But you could tell the people that aren't grateful.
Oh yeah, no,
You can tell. Here's a question. For the people who don't have that gratitude in their lives, or the people that are maybe doing it for the wrong reasons, what are some signs that you see in those people? Like, if you know what I mean? What's like something that's like a habit of theirs or a characteristic?
Well, so I'll just kind of share some things that some of my clients sometimes do is that they'll focus a lot on the past. So when they focus on the past, they focus on the shame of what they used to be.
Wow.
And what they are, they're not that anymore, but because they think that they're that, they think that they're the mistake. And that's where the shame is, because there's that thing that, I'm that mistake. And then we bring the shame, and then we can't even enjoy the moment because we're constantly living in the past. And when you're living in the past, all you're creating in this moment is the past, and you keep reliving it. Yeah. And that's why you have to start to understand that you are no longer the past. You're no longer that 7-year-old, that 9-year-old that you were, you made a mistake. Yeah. And that's okay. And that's why we have to love that 9-year-old that was shamed so many times for making mistakes. And it's important for that person to realize that, hey, you're no longer that kid, but you have to love that kid because there's still an inner child in all of us that is still suffering, that's still wanting that love, that affection from our parents. And it also goes back to the parents. For me, I had a roof over my head, I had food, but I never got those words of, I'm proud of you, son. I love you, son. Yeah. I'm here for you. And my parents, they were great, but they just didn't have the emotional intelligence, or they just didn't have the awareness of like, hey, your son does need that emotional attention. Yeah. And so for me, I've made it a point where I tell my kids, hey, I love you, son. I love you. Oh, my little Bubba. And like, I just mess around with them, just like give them hugs and stuff. And I tell them, man, that, I'm here for you, whatever you need. I love you. I believe in you. All these things that I didn't get. And I'm wanting to give that to my kids. And so when I see people that are not grateful, it's because they continue to live in that shame and that past, and they haven't forgiven people. That's another thing that I teach my clients is like, forgive people, but most importantly, forgive yourself. Because again, if you can't forgive yourself, you can't forgive other people. You can't have compassion for others when you don't even have compassion for yourself. Right. So that's one of the things that I teach. I also have this talk called compassionate care, where I've given it a few times, like to police officers, counselors, all these professionals that I just tell them, hey, we're going to have you forgive yourself. And they just simply put their hand on their heart, and then they just say, Andres, I forgive you and I love you. And then they say, Andres, I forgive you for XXX, all this stuff, and I love you. And some people sometimes have trouble. They're like, I don't know, it was really hard to forgive myself. That's it's okay. But you need to continue to work on that, because that will free you from so many things. And it's such an easy activity. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Powerful.
Yeah. And it's not easy because we have always been so used to being so hard on ourselves that how am I going to give myself grace?
Especially as men, right?
Oh,
Ooh,
don't get me started. Yep. Yeah. Especially as me, a Mexican man.
Yeah.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That's not for men.
Right.
Men don't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I told you this was going to be powerful today, Aaron. You didn't believe me. Imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah. Even to this day, I'll deal with that imposter syndrome, where I'll think to myself, like, who am I to be here? Like, I don't know if I'm worthy of this, because these people have degrees and I don't. And I was just actually having a session with the CEO that I coach, and she was telling me, oh my God, sometimes I have trouble because I'm around these people who have a Harvard degree, and I've just went to this local college, and I don't even know if I belong here. And then when I tell her, I'm like, you have that degree, like your attitude is a degree.
Right.
You have an amazing attitude. You have an amazing enthusiasm. Your love shows when you're speaking about what you're doing for this company. And that's why people love you. But because you're basing your worth on that degree, that thought is what's stopping you. At the end of the day, you have to manage your thoughts. Your thoughts is what's causing you to feel like you're not good enough. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say about you. What matters is what you say about you. But we're constantly living in this quote that I want to share with you. It's, I am what I think you think I am. So we live in a perception of another person's perception that's just an assumption and most likely is a lie. But because we think that they think that we are that, then we are that.
Wow.
So this is why it's important that we don't allow that thought that we have of other people that they have supposedly, that we don't allow that to come in here because we're thinking, man, I made a fool out of myself. Or I can't believe I did that. They're probably thinking that I'm a failure. They probably think this. And they're not even thinking about you. You're not that important. At the end of the day, people are thinking, oh my God, can you believe Sean did that? And then they're like, oh yeah, I got to pay the bills. Oh yeah, I got to change the diaper. Oh yeah. They don't care about you. But because you are thinking that they're thinking about you, that's what's causing your low self-esteem, your low confidence. And they don't even care.
Yeah.
And then once you have that awareness, now it's a choice. Am I going to continue to keep thinking these thoughts that are not true? It's always a choice. But and I choose to say, no, hold up. That's a lie. And I have this thing where I tell my clients, it's like, okay, we have a judge. Like we all have a judge, and the judge is negative thoughts. That's it. But we have to start to separate ourselves from our negative thoughts because we are not our negative thoughts. And there's a study that says that we think 80% of our thoughts are negative. So we have to start to manage those thoughts that it doesn't get to. We can lower it to maybe 75%, 70, lower it. But this judge, you have to stop it whenever it's talking to you and telling you negative things and then just release it because you are not your thoughts. And I have my clients just either you can call it the judge or you can name it something else. And is this PG? Or
no, it's whatever you want.
So one of my clients,
show, Andres.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. No, so one of my clients, she calls it the bitch. So as soon as the bitch shows up, she's like, bitch, please, like, get the hell out of my head. So she starts talking to the bitch and she's like, no, that's not true. I am good enough. Bitch, get out of here. Boom. And then just lets it go. And now that she's doing it more, awareness. And this is a part of spirituality where that spiritual piece is coming into play, where now you're being aware and seeing yourself outside of yourself. You're seeing yourself being like, look at me being so hard on myself. What the heck? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And then now the more you're aware of it, the easier it is to get out of that. Before it used to take me hours, weeks. Now it's like, wait, hold up. Nah, this is not true. Come on, man. It gets easier as you do it more. But you got to do it.
And don't worry about what you say on the show. We had Candace Eaton on the show. So.
Oh, okay. She pretty. Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know she was like. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think Aaron, you were the engineer that day. It was Lily, who's 19, and she's just like, oh my gosh. I can't believe she just said that.
That's funny.
Yeah. She's like, what are we gonna do about those words, Sean? Keep them in.
Keep them in. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Ooh, you gotta beep them out.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Did you have any questions, Aaron?
I mean, I'm just enjoying everything so far. I probably will, but I mean,
okay, yeah. Because here's another. Because you notice how I just said imposter syndrome, and you right. Here's another two words: inner circle.
Oh yes, inner circle.
I'm good at this, huh?
Yeah,
I'm good at what I do here.
Oh my God, yes. The inner circle is huge, man, because you really are, the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's very true. Yeah. But oftentimes it's really hard to let go of that circle that was an inner circle at one point because they're your family. Right. Family's the hardest because, I've had relatives that were very toxic and, probably see them like once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like that. And it was kind of hard to like separate yourself because you didn't want to be that guy that was like,
you don't want to be that guy. You don't want them to think that like you're thinking you're too good for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I started working on my own, Andres, I had my inner circle, and I still love and appreciate them. They're great people.
Yeah.
But by no means did they support me when I said, hey, I want to work for myself. They're like, Sean, nah.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but that put a chip on my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
That's motivation for
Yeah,
me.
there you
And
go.
I've been told before I need to get rid of that chip on my shoulder. But every once in a while, when I need that extra push, there's like 5 or 6 little video clips in my head of people telling me I couldn't do it that I rewind and I play. And that motivates me. I don't know if that's healthy. But I tell you what, I mean, whenever I need to use that chip, I use it.
Okay. No, well, and if it helps you move forward, like take action, that's great. But if there's like some like resentment or like a little anger or whatever it is, if there's something still there, I would say we just need to forgive these people and then just send them love, and then also thank them for what they taught you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you feel like there's still something there that's like suppressed, then maybe it's just need to like just forgive them or whatever it is. But that's all I could say for in regards to that. But
So should I cancel the copies of the book that I sent them?
No, send those. Send them an extra copy.
Definitely. Okay, so
Don't do that. Yeah.
So a question did come up based off of that as far as the inner circle. So the way I've always thought of it, and I don't know if this is like the ideal way, but when it comes to that and having certain people around you who may not necessarily support everything you want to do, one of the things I've learned is that you can have a circle of people, but everybody is not good for everything. And so focusing on the ones who are going to most likely be more supportive without necessarily throwing the other people away, because because everyone's got their strengths.
That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like I said, you can be still connected with people, but you just either see them from afar, or you can also just every now and then maybe hang out with them once a year, not once a month or whatever it is. And then just making sure that you're guarding your energy, because it's just just like that one rotten apple that can spoil the whole batch, one negative person can ruin your whole life. And so, and this is where it's important to set boundaries as well. If somebody is saying things that are rude or that are making you feel a certain way, you have to address that, because if you don't, they'll continue to do it. And if they don't respect that, then they're kind of showing who they are. And it's up to you now if you're going to continue to accept that behavior. So that's why it's important that you set that boundary. I've had clients where they tell their mom or their dad and they say, Mom, I don't appreciate when you tell me that. That makes me feel this way. And then they're like, oh, come on, don't be silly. No, I'm serious. Like it makes me feel bad. And then they'll do it again and they say, hey, remember I told you that? And I teach them how to do this. I teach them how to set boundaries, because they have never dealt with conflict resolution, like in regards to family. That maybe they do it at work, and sometimes not even at work. But now that they've done it, now that they've addressed it, now the parents are like, oh, okay, they're kind of serious. Like this is something serious. And then they either start respecting them, or even them, they will separate themselves from their kids because they feel disrespected. But no, it's, hey, I'm just saying it with respect.
Yeah.
But since they've never had their kids stand up to them because they used to get the smack in the mouth or the belt.
Or the chancla.
The chancla, yeah. I used to hear that drawer with the belt. The belt. That was for me. But we're still like that child. Even though we're 40, 50 years old, we're still that child that's scared to get smacked in the mouth. And that's why we fear confrontation. That's why we don't stand up for ourselves when we need to stand up for ourselves, or we need to have that conversation with that person, because we're scared that we're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But you're no longer that 9-year-old kid. But unconsciously, we're doing these behaviors.
Yep.
But now that you're aware of it, now it's a choice again.
Yep.
Now, and then once you do it once, you'll do it more, and you'll be more confident. Your self-esteem will go up.
Yeah.
You will be this powerful person that will be able to stand up for themselves in a respectful, assertive way, not an aggressive way. Because there's people that, I stand up for myself, and I'll kick their ass. And I'm like, nah, dude, like you don't handle conflict like that. You're assertive, not aggressive.
Right.
And I teach this. I was actually teaching that to some of the kids at a high school about assertiveness versus being aggressive. And I told them this story about how I was at the grocery store, and I was with some kids that, foster kids, and they spoke Spanish. And I was talking to the kids in Spanish, oh, yeah, esto, lo otro, blah, blah. And then I turned around and I saw this older gentleman, and then I said, hey, how you doing, sir? And he's like, I don't speak Mexican. And I'm like,
God.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, and I was about to be a smartass and say, well, I don't speak Mexican either. But I was like, nah, I'm not going to go there. And I said, oh, sir, but I wasn't talking to you in Spanish. And he's like, just get your damn bananas and get the hell out of here. And I was like, and then and this is where I had to be the example. And I was assertive and I was cool. I didn't get aggressive. 10 years before that, I would have been on this old man,
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a great day, sir. And then he started to like shake. And then he got his bag and he threw it on the floor and he walked away pissed off. And then, I felt bad for this guy first because he wasn't going to have his, banana milkshake. and then second, I was thinking, wow, this man is about 60 years old and still angry.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have any anger or I didn't get pissed off.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, man, 60 some years of his life and still angry, still doesn't get it, and it's okay. Like I just felt bad, and I just feel blessed that I was able to recognize that at such an early age, not wait till I was 60, 70, like some relatives that we have that still live with that anger.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I'm most grateful for in my life is being a military brat. Because I grew up around everybody, every background, race, creed.
Yeah.
And I just see people for the goodness and how great they are. I love being around people that are totally opposite of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. I want to know more about them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's sad that still exists. My son a few weeks ago, it was funny because I was texting him on a Tuesday night. So, you really got to go to school tomorrow? You just want to go hang out? I was going to take him to the stands with me or whatever.
I've done that.
And he's like, Dad, I always want to, but tomorrow there's actually a survivor of the Holocaust going to be speaking to us at the school.
What? Okay, that's cool.
So I went to go pick him up, and he was like, I was overwhelmed, and I started talking about it. And unfortunately, there was a student, because they made a big card, and unfortunately, there was a student who put a swastika on it. And so we started talking about that, and it's like, his parents are probably very afraid of other people, and they're ignorant, and it's like, I told him, it's like, I don't care what you do, what you want to be, what you want to study, and the only two things I ask from you, second, is that you work hard at whatever you decide, and two, you just accept people who they are, no matter what their preference is, what background, whatever.
Yep.
People are people.
Yep.
Absolutely. And just appreciate everybody for who they are. You know what I mean? And I look in my inner circle, and it is people that just accept me. Sometimes I'm going to say something dumb and funny, and they know I'm going to fail a lot because I'm trying stuff all, and that's all I want. That's all I want. And it's like a lot of them don't have anything to do with the business side of what I do. So it really lets me just kind of let my hair down and just kind of whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. And you're right, just accepting people for who they are, because we have our flaws. I'm not perfect, it's and that's what we have to look at, man. It's looking at the person for who they are. And and man, for me, I used to be very judgmental. I used to be very negative.
Yeah, me too.
And now I'm just like, man, I got to stop judging people. I can't, because really I'm judging myself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So for me, that was one of the challenges that I had, that I wrote down as values of like, I don't criticize people, I praise people.
Yeah.
I'm a servant. All these, like, I'm a man of integrity. I'm honest. All these things that I battled with, and I wrote them out, and I would read them every day, in the morning, throughout the day, and then at night before I would go to bed. I would carry a 3x5 card. And I remember I used to work at this, it's home for the elderly. And I would carry the card with me, and I would just say, I'm honest. I praise people. I don't drink to get drunk, because I used to drink to the point where I was like blacking out and stuff. And then when I started writing these things, I started to become this different person, because I kept saying it over and over again, like repetition. And then those words again turn into thoughts, feelings, actions, results. And then before you know it, I was turning into this person that I was like, man, I feel better being a good person than a pessimistic, angry, pissed off person.
Yeah.
And that 3x5 card, just carrying it around, really changed my life. It was so crazy how a simple act like that can change who you are.
Right.
By just reminding yourself, you know what? I want to be this person. I want to be a good person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's who you want to be.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
How often, because I've noticed in the last like 7 or 8 years myself, I think I told you this story maybe, before I had my own office, I was working out of a Starbucks and I had a meeting downtown one day. And I didn't know that it was even offices, but I looked up. It was next to the Rialto across the street from Hotel Congress on the second floor of the building. And it was just a balcony. And I'm like, one of these days I'm going to have an office right there. And I'm an office downtown. I love being downtown, right?
Yeah.
6 months later, I was right there.
Oh,
it was Connect. It was a co-op space, and I had no idea that it was.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that's where I'm working.
Yes.
And that's happened so often these last, 7, 8 years. When it's like, I'm going to do that. And it just, it
happens.
It just happens.
Yes. That's the power of visualization.
Yeah.
That's the power of like with the meditations that I do, where I'm visualizing myself, and then I'm visualizing myself doing all these things to serve people, or making X amount of money. And when you start to visualize it, when you start to see it, slowly you'll start to take those actions, because the law of attraction works as long as you take action. It's not like this thing where you just sit there and you're like, $100,000. Come on. Let's go eat a sandwich. No, you have to actually take action. You have to do it.
Right.
And a lot of people, I've had people where they tell me, oh, I visualized myself getting this lamp, and then I went to Walmart and it was $19. I'm like, okay, well, yeah. And they did take action. You did walk somewhere and went there. But they're constantly thinking that it's just going to drop on their lap. No, it's like you got to put in the work, but it's important that you do visualize yourself, because the more that you visualize yourself, now you're going to say, okay, how can I do this? What do I need to do?
Right.
And then boom, before you know, you're taking those steps. And then before you know it, you're writing a book, or you're speaking on stage. You're doing all these things that you could have never imagined yourself doing. But because you visualized it and you saw it in your mind, now you're doing the work to get it, have it in your hand. Yeah. So I'm a big believer in visualization, and I always have a conversation with John every week. We just have a conversation, as we call it, Jondress, where it's just like, so we mixed it together, Andres and John, and then we just say,
does he still call you Andreas though?
Andreas, yeah. So it's John Dreas.
John Dreas, yeah.
And so I think he just likes calling me Andreas.
He does, yeah.
And so when we talk, we just say, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, it's 2025, 2026, whatever. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, hey man. And we're speaking it as if it's already done. And the brain can't tell the difference whether you're doing it or not. It's seeing it. Like this weekend, this week, I had a presentation where I had people do a gratitude visualization. I had a few people crying because they saw themselves in that moment with their daughter, appreciating that moment and feeling the moment. And then she said, I was so happy. And then when the meditation ended, I was so sad because I wasn't there anymore. But I said, you were there in that moment. That's the power of visualization.
Right.
Your mind, it cannot tell the difference. So.
I know when I'm in that zone, because I could smell and feel, and how cold the room is or how hot it is out when I'm thinking about something, when I'm really kind of in that moment and visualizing, those extra senses kick in. Yeah. There's one thing of just seeing it, but when you could feel how cold you are inside of a room or whatever, and that's when I know it's like, all right, this is going to happen. One of the biggest visualizations I've had for years, and it always gets to a point, and I don't know, I can't think of what's around the corner. It's weird. But I'm backstage, Hell's Bells from AC/DC is starting. I'm being introduced. I'm walking out on stage, but I just don't know who I'm talking to yet.
Okay.
But that's run through my head thousands of times.
Okay, we'll keep.
Every time I hear that song, but I just don't know who I'm talking to.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not fellow prison inmates or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I've thought of it for the last 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
It's like I know what I'm wearing. I know I feel good. I know I'm hyped.
Okay. So
I just don't know who that audience is yet.
Okay.
It's the weirdest thing.
Okay, perfect. So then now it's time to strategize it. There's something there that's telling you that there's an audience waiting for what your message has to say.
Yeah.
Now it's time to think, where's that stage? Like, where can I build that stage? You're going to build it. You need to build it.
Yeah.
And it might not have to necessarily be you. It could be somebody that you already know that has a stage that you're just like, hey, bro, like, what if we do this? Or what if we do that? How can we build this stage? But it's in here. Now it's time to start taking those little steps and then finding the who. Maybe there's a who that can do that for you.
The book was one of those steps. You know what I mean? To get to that, because I feel as if I'm the authority. There's no inkling of any imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Because I've done that a lot of times where I'm going and talk to people. I'm like, I mean, seconds before, I'm like, do I really belong? I was talking to some marketing students just a month ago, and I'm literally like walking in there going, why me? You know what I mean? But I pulled it off. I did pretty good.
Why not you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But still, but when I visualize this particular occurrence, there is none of that. It's total 100% confidence.
Okay, perfect.
If I'm walking on to Hell's Bells, I mean, of course.
Yeah. No, yeah, man. I challenge you. I challenge you to start putting
Building
pen
the
to
stage.
paper,
Yeah.
building your stage.
Building the stage.
Hey, and you have connections that have your stage already. You don't
Yeah,
even
that's
need to
true.
build it.
No.
Sans. I don't know. I mean, just there's somebody out there that's like, hey, Sean, we have your stage, but you haven't reached out, so that's why you don't give it. You have to ask. Ask and you shall receive.
Okay.
And then seek it.
Can I have you sign your book?
Absolutely.
See, it works. I asked.
It works.
So this is Blueprint, right?
Yes.
Which one of the 10 books is this one right here?
This was second one.
The second one. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anybody out there has the aspiration of putting together their own book, reach out to Andres.
Yes.
And tell us where else people can reach out to you. Tell us what's going on with your show. Who would be a good audience for you? Who would be a good client for you?
Cool. Yeah. So in regards to the public speaking right now, I'm just looking for organizations that need somebody to come in and speak to their team about stress management, self-care, because when your people are happy, they'll be more productive and then you'll make more money. And then in regards to entrepreneurs and business owners, I'm just looking for business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking to overcome self-doubt, procrastination, and burnout so that they can be more confident, be more productive, and make more money.
That's all of us.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, for sure. And I'm helping a lot of them, which I'm very grateful. But now I want to help more. Yeah. And then also in regards to the Hispanic Alliance radio show, we highlight Hispanic-owned businesses and non-Hispanic-owned business. So what I'm trying to do is bridge the gap between my raza and the non-Hispanic-owned businesses to collaborate.
And what station is that on?
10:30 a.m. The Voice.
What time?
It is on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. And then we also have a Spanish networking group. It's actually a Spanglish because I'm bridging that gap called Alianzas Hispanas Networking Group. It's every first Friday of the month, 9 to 11. So if you want to be there, we'd love to have you. And it's Hispanic-owned businesses and non-Hispanic-owned businesses. I'm trying to bring them together because there's so much business to be done. Yeah. And then a lot of the people that I coached or that I know, they're Hispanics, but they also speak really good English. So I'm like, dude, you're missing out on the market. Like you can definitely tap into that. Yeah. So that's what I have going on. And then you can reach me at ibelieveinmyself.org. That's my website. And then you can also send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com. And then my telephone number is 520-392-9179. You can check me out on Facebook, Andres Ruiz, LinkedIn, Andres Ruiz, and then Instagram, Andres Ruiz Motivates.
Awesome. You've done that a few times before, right?
Just a couple of times, yeah.
Andres, thank you so much for being here. You don't know how much this means to me.
Thanks, man.
Aaron,
I appreciate
thanks for putting the show together. And thank you, everybody, for listening in on this. And this was powerful.
Here's a little something for you, man.
This was powerful.
It's so funny. I was just thinking, I was going to ask you this. I was like, where can I get one of these?
You can get it right now.
You ask and you shall receive.
There you go. Yeah, you were thinking it in your mind. Now you're holding it in your hand.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna wait. I didn't want to interrupt. So I was just wait. But no, I love this thing.
Yeah. You're welcome, man. My pleasure.
So. All right,
this was fun.
Aaron. Yeah, this was good. Do we have the outro?
Of course we have the outro.
Let's get it.
And that's a wrap on today's Marketing Corner with CS Design Studios. Remember, the journey to greatness is non-stop. Harness today's insights and let them fuel your ambitions.
Big thanks to our community of go-getters and visionaries.
And remember to subscribe and activate alerts to stay connected for more transformative ideas. Till next time, keep reaching for the stars.
Keep reaching for the stars.
Love it. That was good, dude.
My son makes fun of me every time I see him. Are you reaching for the stars today, Dad?